if I could have just a quick moment of personal privilege, I don't want to pull anything, but one of the items we have on the agenda is the approval of the services for architect services for O. And in the audience tonight, we have the architect that I think will be involved in designing this. So I'd like to ask Sam Ferrari to stand up. Sam is a longtime resident of Palm Beach County, former mayor of the city of Green Acres, and president of the League of Cities, and has built how many schools in Palm Beach County? A dozen. So he will be there. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion by Mr. Shaw, second by Mrs. Andrews. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. So that takes us to new business, Mr. Superintendent. I guess the first one is mine, BRD 3. I recommend the board approve and confirm board member travel as submitted and that it meets the requirements of Florida Statute 1001.39, effective July 1st, 2019. Motion by Mrs. Andrews, second by Mrs. Whitfield. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Personnel addendum, Mr. Superintendent, P3.
Mr. Chairman, P3, I recommend the board approve the personnel addendum as amended.
Motion by Mrs. Andrews, seconded by Mrs. Whitfield. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Also, before we go into the next item, we typically recognize employees of ours who have passed away recently, so I'd like to take the opportunity that at this moment we have Azolta Alkema, Food Service Assistant 1 at Alamanda Elementary. She was born in 1975 and she passed away recently in 2019. And Henry Montgomery, Custodial Foreperson 4 at Jupiter Middle. He was born in 1958 and recently passed away in July of 2019. Could we have a moment of silence to recognize these employees and their families? Thank you. Mr. Superintendent, SW1.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. SW1, I recommend the board approve the renewal of the annual cooperative agreement with the Practical Academic Cultural Education, PACE, Center for Girls, Inc., effective July 1, 2019 through June 30, 2020.
Motion by Mrs. Andrews, second by Mrs. Brill. Mrs. Whitfield, you have
Thank you. I just wanted to pull this item because when I was going through the backup documentation, I kind of felt like there just wasn't enough of it, specifically because we have been talking a lot about improving our alternative schools. And so I really wanted to see from PACE, since they have been in existence for a while, really what kind of outcomes are we getting from that organization before we approve items like that. So, I don't want to stop PACE from being improved because I have been there and I do know they provide a valuable service, but I do hope that in the future when we have items like this, we can have some documentation about how they are improving the lives. I was thinking things like scores, but also the implementation of some of the SEL things that they may be doing at those schools, because that is something that we are leaning towards. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Andrews.
Thank you. I'd just like to say something on behalf of PACE, since I do sit as your board representative for the Juvenile Justice Group. And just knowing we have PACE, I had a situation just recently at Wellington High School, and we needed to find placement. And it's a different kind of placement that's totally different from the normal alternative placement, just for our girls. So I invite this board to go visit PACE and get a chance to talk to the people who run the program. And I'm quite impressed with what they do for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Brill.
Thank you. And I'll just weigh in by saying that I had the opportunity to meet some of the students who had gone through the program with them, and they are incredible. These are students who don't have a place to go to live. It's wraparound services. These are children that would have been totally lost, so they don't really quite fit, but I understand what Ms. Whitfield's asking for. But this is a very unique program, and I think that we have to be extremely supportive and grateful to them for all that they do.
All right, thank you. No, any more discussion? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. That takes us to non-agenda speakers. Would Carl